All right, we're standing here right now, second day of InfoComm in Orlando. I'm standing with Dave Haynes, who's responsible for a lot of writing that's going on in the digital signage and digital out-of-home industry. He's got PressDo, got Preset doing some different projects. He's also got 16.9, general literary badass for our industry. But first of all, Dave, thanks so much for joining us. Can you explain to some of the people out there some of the different things you do? Because you've got a lot of projects going on.
I prefer shit disturber to badass.
Okay.
But yeah, same idea.
Yeah.
I've been in the digital signage space for about 12 years in a whole bunch of different capacities. About a couple years ago, I set up my own company, and what I do is write for people. The difference between me and a lot of the value proposition that I have is I actually understand the space. If you hire a PR firm to do work for you about digital signage space, they're going to be forming bubbles on their lips. They don't get it. They don't know what you're doing, and the net result is you're not going to get very good copy. You're not going to get compelling marketing work for you. And I understand what's really important. I've been there, done that, and I know what to emphasize and what not to bother with. Even at InfoComm, I'm seeing the same thing over and over again. There's so many vendors who are saying, we get media at the right place at the right time. And for God's sakes. People have been using that for about 6 years now. You got to move on. You got to differentiate yourself in some way. And that's what I do. I work with people. I write for them, but I'm also very, very consultative. I have CEOs who just basically hand stuff off to me and say, Dave, I need a website. And here's what we do. And I take it from there, and they're happy as clams.
Good. Now tell us a little bit about 16.9, because you have something like over 2,000 blog posts in there. You've got these deep docs, which are kind of like the educational stuff. We're hoping to link with our site. Just how do you come up with the stuff to keep talking about? I mean, and it's more than just, reporting stuff. I mean, you're actually talking about insight. You're actually talking about topics. How do you keep coming up with stuff?
I've been doing it since 2006. I started it because I'm an ex-journalist. I was a newspaper editor for a whole bunch of years, and somehow or other ended up in digital signage and ended up selling stuff. I felt really strongly that the industry, and this is a PG channel, I'm sure, that needed a bullshit filter. It didn't have one. It's barely got one still. There's so many people making so much noise about stuff that's really is inconsequential or just flat wrong. So I started 16.9 as a way to kind of write about the industry, what's going on, what's actually really interesting, and for lack of a better term, call people out on stuff that it's erroneous, it's bad for the industry, and I'll point it out. I tend to not just replicate press releases that come out, even though part of my business is writing press releases for companies. I don't even run my press releases in most cases because while it's interesting, it's not interesting enough for my readers. People who read 16.9 are generally people who've been in the industry for a long time, or senior people who want to get into the industry and don't want to just see hype. They want to understand context of things and why stuff happens. And when interesting announcements come up, I try to kind of dig in behind it and say, this is the reason why you should actually care about this, or this is what this will mean 6 months out from now. So it's that kind of thing.
Well, that's a perfect way to describe it. Dave, thanks so much. Really appreciate the time.